Hello, Professor Curry. Here is my presentation for Essay 3. I decided to do my Essay 3 research project on the anthropogenic effect on coral reefs. I would like to first start off this presentation by looking at two images. As seen in this picture, we can see a coral reef then versus a coral reef now. Note that these pictures were only taken 10 years apart from one another. If we take some time to look at the left-hand side of the image, we can see a healthy and thriving coral reef. As we can see, there are many different fish species surrounding the coral reefs. And the corals themselves are healthy. They are colorful, they are strong, they are full. Now, if we look on the right-hand side of the image, we see a totally different situation. We can tell that there are no more fish surrounding the reefs. The reefs are no longer suitable for these animals to thrive in this habitat. The corals themselves are also different. We can see that they have lost their color. They are no longer full and strong. They're dying. It is very easy to tell that these two images are very different from one another. And sadly, they were taken in the same spot only 10 years apart, in the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. I would like to first explain why coral reefs are so important, not only to the ocean, but to humans. First, coral reefs provide protection from the ocean for many coastal cities worldwide. Corals serve as a boundary from the ocean to land, and they help coastal cities avoid natural disasters such as tsunamis and large tidal waves. Next, coral reefs provide habitats to over 1 million plant and animal species. They serve as protection and as a food source for all of these species. Third, coral reefs are a food source for a large portion of the human population. Many countries worldwide rely on the fish found in the coral reefs for food. Another important factor that coral reefs help us with is that they are an economic source for millions of people worldwide in terms of tourism, and they also provide employment for many, many people. This is especially the case in lots of third world countries that rely on fishing to make a living and to support themselves and their families. And finally, coral reefs have helped make medical advancements for treatment for diseases such as leukemia and HIV. I now want to take some time to look at many different human activity and actions that are actually leading to the destruction of these very important habitats. A first problem that the coral reefs are experiencing is pollution. Now, as we can see here in this image, it is not uncommon to see coral reefs covered in plastic, such as bags, caps, bottles, straws, and even micro pieces of plastic that embed themselves in these reefs. Plastic pollution is actually causing the formation of microbial colonizations on the coral reefs. These colonizations are a type of bacteria that causes disease on the corals themselves. Plastic levels on and around the coral reefs correspond to the amount of plastic entering the ocean. The more plastic that we use, the more enters the ocean, and the more of this bacteria that grows on the coral reefs. These colonizations are slowly killing coral reefs around the world. Another problem that coral reefs are facing are destructive fishing practices. One of many destructive fishing practices is bottom trawling. As seen in the top of the two pictures, bottom trawling is a fishing practice that uses large weighted nets and are dragged across the ocean floor in order to gather fish. The problem with this fishing practice is that it often destroys anything in its path, such as the reefs. Another destructive fishing practice is dynamite fishing. As seen in the bottom of the two images, dynamite fishing uses dynamite to kill large groups of fish to collect. The problem with this type of fishing practice is that the explosions often destroy the habitats that support the fish, like the coral reefs that are found below the surface of the water. Climate change is also slowly destroying our coral reefs. Climate change causes coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is a result in the rise of sea temperature. There is a loss of microscopic algae that produces food that coral needs, and because of this, the coral slowly loses its color and dies. As seen in this picture on the right, you can see that the coral has lost its vibrant colors and is now white and dead. Another problem is the atmospheric rise in temperature. As the atmosphere rises in temperature, so does the ocean, and this causes ocean acidification, which is a change in ocean chemistry due to the intake of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The more carbon dioxide that is put into the atmosphere because of climate change, the more that is absorbed into the ocean, making the water more acidic. This also kills the corals. Overfishing is another human-made problem that is destroying coral reefs. Overfishing is the removal of a species which impacts multiple trophic levels in a food chain. Bycatch is a fishing practice that unintentionally catches marine species while trying to fish for one specific species. The removal of these species through bycatch creates a change from coral to algae dominance, as there is a reduction in herbivores such as fish who should be consuming the algae from these coral reefs. As seen in the picture, every year fishing bycatch kills 250,000 loggerhead and leatherback turtles, 100 million sharks, and 300,000 small whales and dolphins. These are all animals that are removed from the coral reef habitat and are no longer there to support it. A final problem that is destroying coral reefs is careless tourism. Divers and snorkelers can cause damage from their fins, from pushing or holding coral, from dragging their gear across the coral, and from kneeling or standing on the coral itself. Coral trampling is common in shallow near-shore reefs. Reefs that are located near where people stand to enter or exit the water often experience coral trampling. As seen in the top image, a diver is dragging his fins across the coral reefs and damaging them. And in the bottom image, there are two people walking and sitting on top of the reefs. Both of these really cause damage to the reefs. As we can see, there are many different anthropogenic effects that are destroying our coral reefs. We need to be careful to change our actions before it is too late, as coral reefs are really vital to not only the ocean's health, but to our health as well. We must make a change before it is too late. And here is my works cited page, including all of the authors of the information I used and the images included in my PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.